I started my birthday 6 a.m. on Sunday morning and ran 38 miles. And it took me 6 hours, 58 minutes, and 59 seconds, so just under 7 hours to run 38 miles. And it was probably one of the most exciting days of my life.
We're here with Adam Berezowski, and today we get to celebrate a little bit because Adam is older today than he was last time, and I guess that's always true, but you celebrated a pretty cool milestone. So tell us about what happened and what you did to celebrate.
So this year I turned 38 years. So there's a bunch of big things. So I turned 38 this year. My business turns 13 this year. And I made it a goal to make a massive impact. So my whole theory is like impact over income. And I wanted to do something totally out of the box. You know, most people, especially in their 30s, tend to go to bars and drink for hours and all night. And I was like, I want to do something crazy. So how it came up was I've run 9 marathons. I was supposed to run my 10th one in Chicago of 2022. I ended up bailing out of that because of my mental health. So I was like, I'm going to run a marathon on my birthday. And it was just like, honestly, in conversation with some of my clients. And then all of a sudden, one of my clients was like, well, why don't you just do 38 miles? It's, 1 mile for every year you've been born. And I was like, no, that's crazy. I've never run that far. And within like, I don't know, maybe a whole whopping 14 seconds, it was like, oh, wait, maybe that is a good idea. And so little to be known, I was like, all right, I'm going to do 38 miles. I've never run that far in my life. And I've been on this like insane, I guess, big transformation again in my life in my mid 30s. And I was like, I think I could do that. And to date, prior to this, I think my longest run was like 27 miles.
Right, over. It's like the marathon plus the starting line.
Yeah, exactly, right? It was like a 26.2 plus, I guess I'll call it. And so this would actually be a marathon plus another, like almost a half marathon, so another 12 miles after that. And I run like 30 to 35 miles a week on average just for pleasure, right? And I have not been doing long distance. And so I just decided to wing it and run 38 miles. And so on Sunday, I basically just promoted it in my businesses and on my podcast and basically everywhere that I possibly can. And I got my whole community to come and rally around with me and celebrate with me on my birthday. So I started my birthday 6 a.m. on Sunday morning and ran 38 miles. And it took me 6 hours, 58 minutes, and 59 seconds. So just under 7 hours to run 38 miles. And it was probably one of the most exciting days of my life to date. And I've done some pretty cool stuff over the years, but having my team come out, I had about 9 people that started with me. One of them that started with me. So how I did it is I did 2 19-mile loops around my town. And one of the people that started with me, my client Gina, ended up running a full loop. So she did 19 miles with me. And then some others did like a mile, some did 3, some did 10, some did whatever. And then throughout the day, so I did my first loop. We had people that started with me in random areas, came out from their house, ran with me a mile, 3 miles. They rode their bike with me. They parked on the side of the road and held signs. And it was just a super awesome, community event. And honestly, it was like one of the best, community building things that I've done to date. Like we've done Spartan races as a team. We've done a lot of things, but without signing up for an event, just on a random Sunday morning for people to get up that early to start their day, just to show the love and care into me, which I love, and how much I've poured into them, over the years to do that. I mean, it was like, I'm still high from it. It's like, it was such a magical moment. So
I mean, 38 miles is really far, and there's probably more than one time where I'm assuming you got tired, right? But how did having people showing up at different intervals and never knowing when the next supporter was going to be there, how did that impact you as you were going?
Yeah. So basically my plan was I did a run walk. So I did a 4-minute run to a 1-minute walk, but I did that the entire time. And so it's called the Jeff Galloway method. And the least amount of people that were with me was 3 at one given time. So I was never actually alone. And then the most amount of people we had about was like 15 of us. And we were like basically gumming up the streets. But I think just like not knowing who was coming when was more the exciting aspect of things. Cause like all of a sudden, like one of my clients just like popped up from the tree and was like, "Oh, I'm going to bust out 3 miles with you." And I was like, "This is awesome." And like, I mean, and it was pretty cool because, people ran 10, and some of the higher mileage people, like I was actually carrying them with my energy because of how excited I was, with, just of the day, the weather, the environment, random strangers honking at me. I mean, I ran with like, I had 8 balloons attached to my pack, and like, it was so awesome. Like, I mean, everybody's like, "Oh, how's your run? How do you feel like the day after?" And I was like, I feel so amazing, even though I'm sore. Sure. But like just the amount of love and the conversations that we had on the run, the connection, the team building, like this is what I thrive from. So I always say like my love languages is physical touch and words of affirmation. So touch my butt and tell me I'm pretty. And so, so it was just like having that connection, having those monumental conversations, like having people tell me that they're crazy, but it was just like so inspiring for them that they wanted to get up early on a Sunday morning to come run some miles with me. And I mean, like I'm so blessed to just like have a moment like that. And I'm still trying to like take it all in and like just process it.
That's awesome. How, as you're hitting this age 38, right? That's it's an interesting year because you're no longer in your mid 30s, right? You're cresting 40, right? What's becoming clear to you now at this stage of life, that wasn't clear to you before?
So I know it's very cliche, but it's that moments like that. It's if you can truly believe that you can do it, you can achieve it. And like this just shows that anything's possible. And a good friend told me that it's easier to make $1 million than it is to have a 6-pack, right? And so and it really made me think about like how we treat our bodies and how we like live our life these days and what's so important. And to me, it's like it's not about money; it's about experience and time. And I think like in my later years, there's so much more that I want to accomplish in what I have in my past that like I don't want my body to stop me from doing anything. So if somebody can just believe that I can run 38 miles, you know what? I'm going to go do it. And I'm going to prove to them that I can. I'm going to prove to myself that I can. And it's been, I mean, that just to set off my 38th year of life, it just like, it's going to propel me into who knows what.
Yeah. I'm excited to see how many years you'll be able to keep that 1 year per 1 mile per year going.
Totally. If you ask me right now, yes, I will do it every year. But maybe in a couple of days when the high starts to wear off, it might be questionable.
It might change.
Yeah.
It might change. What would you say to somebody else who maybe couldn't run 38 miles today, but wants to honor their future self and start taking action today? What would you say to encourage them?
So I heard this thing. There's a guy that I follow. His name is James Lawrence, and he says he's known as the Iron Cowboy, and he says, "No, your hard is no different than my hard, but it's the same feeling of accomplishment." And to me, I think that's the most important thing with anybody to like, push themselves to see what they're capable of doing, no matter how many miles, no matter how many hours or 15, 20 minutes in the gym that you do to really reward yourself of a better life ahead. And, because people think I'm crazy, but yet 3 miles to someone is my 38 and, it's just as hard. And so you're worth it. Go for it, put in the time, put in the effort, and, you never know what you're capable of doing. Like if you would ask me in high school if I would ever run a 38-mile run, I mean, my fastest mile in high school was like 25 minutes, let alone running 38 miles.
Yeah, that's huge. And I think that's really good encouragement to remember that not to compare each other, your hard to somebody else's hard, right? Like for some people getting up and walking a mile is that milestone that they need to do today, but it's still honoring their future self. And so for all of you listening, watching, or tuning in, wherever you're catching this show, please share this with somebody else who deserves to become epic. Tune in to all of Adam Berezowski's content and channels, and have a wonderful day.